Good evening, everyone. This is Regina Shine Enriquez, and I am back to tackle you about our new lesson. So, what is credit? Credit is essentially borrowed money that allows individuals or businesses to purchase goods and services with the promise to repay the borrowed amount, usually with interest at a later date. So, that is credit. And for the credit economy, it refers to the portion of an economy that relies heavily on credit for consumption, investment, and economic growth. Next is we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of credit economy. So for the advantages, it stimulates economic growth by increasing consumption and investment. Also, it provides access to funds for individuals and businesses who may not have immediate cash reserves. And for the last advantages is it allows for the purchase of big ticket items like homes or cars without needing to save for years. And as for the disadvantages, it can lead to over-indebtedness if borrowers cannot manage their debt responsibly. Also, it increases the risk of financial crisis when credit is extended recklessly. And lastly, the interest payments can become burdensome, especially if interest rates. So for our next topic is the foundation of credit. So first is the assistance. There should be a credit environment that is ready to assist both the creditor and the debtor. So for the second foundation is the confidence. The openness and willingness to give out money or property. And for the next foundation is the facilities. The credit contract must be protected and respected, and it should be present above all. And for the last foundation is the stability of money. The money standard must be stable to protect both creditor and debtor. So for the next topic is the characteristics of credit. So the first is bipartite in character. It involves a meeting of minds between at least two persons or parties who agree on terms of the transaction. Next is it is fiduciary. The parties involved in this transaction are actually the counterparts of the merchants of the old times. Next is it involves futurity. In credit, there are always a future time involved, since by substance, a credit transaction is just a need that is satisfied by one party with confidence of getting paid in the future. And for the next foundation, characteristic is financial in nature. Credit involves something with economic substance. In the old times, it is expressed in terms of volumes of goods or other measures of goods and services. In these modern times, credits are expressed in terms of volume of goods or its monetary equivalence, and in this context, credit is now fully financial in nature. And for the last, there is always an element of risk. Credit is exposed to uncertainties, considering that it involves futurity. The danger of not being paid is always present and possible. So moving on for the advantages and disadvantages of credit. For the advantages first is we have the ease of purchase. Credit cards can make it easier for you to buy things. And second, protection of purchase. It may offer additional protection if something you have bought is lost or damaged. And third, building a credit line, using it wisely by making payments on time and in full each month will help you build a good credit history. And fourth, emergencies. Credit cards can be also useful in times of emergency. And lastly is credit card benefits, points, and bonuses. The benefits are real and helpful as long as you remember your spending limits and prompt payment habit. On the other hand, disadvantages. First is blowing your budget. Is that they encourage people to spend money that they don't have. Second is the high interest rates and increased debt. Companies charge an enormous amount of interest on each balance that you don't pay off. And for our last topic today is the classification of credit. First is we have the consumer credit. It refers to short and intermediate term loans used to fund the acquisition of commodities or services for personal consumption.